Hey, good evening, everyone. This is John Reedy here this evening. Glad you could meet us, join us. Hope you enjoy the program this evening. You know, Jesus gave us a job to do as he was getting ready to leave the disciples. He gave the disciples the same job, and it kind of transfers over to us. He told us something that we need to be thinking about. In Matthew 28, verses 19 and 20, he said, "Go you therefore into all the world, teach all nations, baptizing them into the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, teaching them to observe all things as I have commanded you." So he gave them an assignment, a message to transfer, to tell other people as to what he was doing and what was taking place. And he expected, when he did that, results in their activities and in their job and responsibility. The same is true for us. He expects the same for us. And we have to sometimes analyze what we're doing as Christians, as preachers of God's Word, and how it's working and how it's affecting and how it's making connections with people along the way. You know, sometimes you deal with people who are going to be good and bad and ugly, if I might use that topic from a movie years ago. And I don't mean that by way of appearance. I mean that by the type of people that you're going to connect with and have interaction with. You know, the good people are the ones that you're going to meet that are going to have a tremendous opportunity to talk with and understand and make that connection with, because you're going to be on the same page. You're going to enjoy each other's company and share each other's experiences. Those that are bad are the ones that you may be friends with, you may work with, they may be family members, but when they find out that you have come in contact with God and you have become a Christian and learned to live a little different way of life, they may not want to be around you anymore. You may lose friends for that. I've had that happen over the years. It's very unfortunate, but it does happen. And then there are those that are ugly, where you see Christians that are being persecuted, not only in the first century time, but also in the days that we see today in this country, that we have all the freedom of religion that we have. We see people and Christians being attacked because of what they believe in. And Jesus told the disciples, he said, you know, there are going to be times where you're going to have to shake the dust off your feet and go your way, because people are not going to want to accept it. They didn't want to accept it when Jesus Christ told them certain things. So the question I've got is, how do you connect with people? How do you interact with people and really be effective in helping make a connection and helping people to understand and avoid some of the pitfalls in life and to help change their lives to a better standard? You know, as you look at Christianity, I want to look at Christianity for a few minutes like a business, a service business, not from the standpoint of trying to make money and earn money and survive like it is in business, but look at Christianity from the standpoint of what you have to do in a service business and how you have to connect with people. You have to, first of all, understand what their problem is. You have to realize what they want you to do for them in solving their problems. And then secondly, you have to begin to try to figure out how to take care of that, how to make an effective assignment, an assessment to overcome those problems that are going to be there and to help them to accomplish the result that they want. That's what we have to do in Christianity. We have to deal with people. We have to try to help them fix the problems that we're in through your experiences, through the things that you know and understand, through God's Word, whatever it is. It was Mark Twain that said, the two most important days of your life are the day you were born and the day that you find out why. And that is truly important, the day that we find out why. You and I have been able to understand that, and so many out there don't. And so it is our job and our responsibility, so to speak, to try to help them do that as they come to us with questions. The first thing that you can do, probably the most important thing you can do, that we have a difficult time doing as people sometimes, is listen. Just to sit and listen, to understand what people are trying to say, to help them realize that what is going on in their life is important. It's very important to them, and they are trying to get across to you what it is. And sometimes we too often overreact. We like to grab a hold of people, so to speak. We like to take a hold of them physically, if not mentally for the most part, and say, this is the way it has to be done, this is the way you need to do it, and you need to change your life. And we don't listen. And people become frustrated because they're saying to you, by their actions, I need help. I need somebody that will understand and give me some solutions. And so we go to great lengths to try to do that. You know, sometimes we just need to be quiet, take it easy, and listen to what they're saying. Secondly, we need to look at and know the Word of God. Paul talked about being all things to all men. Over in 1 Corinthians chapter 9 and verse 22, he talks about in these first few verses here how that he became a servant to all people. He was trying to become a servant to all people. To the Jews, he became a Jew. To those under the law, he became to those under the law. To those without law, he became to those without law. Not meaning that he was sinning with them, but he was trying to understand them as people and how they didn't have the law and understand God's law and know what the benefits were of it. He says in verse 22, to the weak became I as weak, that I might gain the weak. I am made all things to all men, that I might by all means save some. And that is really what we try to do. We try to help people come to understand and come to know God's Word. We listen, and then we have to know God's Word if we're going to lead them in the right direction. In 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 15, it talks about sanctify the Lord God in all your heart and be able to give an answer to a person if they have a question. And that is what we really try to do. We are supposed to know God's Word. As Christians, it's amazing how many people I've met over the years who are Christians, actively Christians in churches. And you mention a scripture to them and they have told me in a couple different occasions, I've never heard of that. That can't be in the Bible. And yet when you show it to them and they find out it's in the Bible, their eyes and mouth become drop open. They're very surprised by it. And so we try to understand that. We try to take people and we try to lead them from the simple things to the more complex as we deal with them. Don't throw out things that are very complex and very, in some ways, controversial, like they'll talk about the Apostle Paul's message in his writings. Don't go necessarily to the Apostle Paul first. Go to the Sermon on the Mount. Take them to where it talks about living your life, changing your life, helping things become a little different, a little better personally for you just by instituting some minor changes in your life. So knowing God's Word is going to be a tremendous blessing and an example for you in dealing with other people and in trying to connect with them. Because it's not something that comes natural. It's going to take study on your part and study on my part to be able to do that. And then lastly, the thing that you need to do and think about in trying to connect with people, and people are going to pick up on this very quickly in your life, and they're going to tell you about it. And that is your example that you set as a Christian. In other words, you're working in the trenches. That's what people are going to notice. And if you're working with someone and people know that you're a Christian and that you love God's Word and that your faith is trying to illustrate what you believe and you're not living by your faith and they see you do things that they know you've told them you don't do, they're going to point them out to you. I'm going to make you feel about this tall because they've gotten a reaction from you and they've actually shown you something that you should be doing. We should illustrate our faith. We should be experts at illustrating our faith by the life that we live. And people are going to pick up on that. And it's going to be a tremendous impact on people when they see that the life that you live is something that you believe in. And you don't deviate from that. That you don't compromise along the way. That you're willing to truly show them and tell them that this is what you believe and this is what it's done for you in helping to change your life. And I think people will be able to connect with you better. Being able to connect with people is something that does not come naturally for most people. It's something that you have to work at, you have to practice at, and you have to really deal with. So when you think of that, there are so many things that you can do to help people come to see things and understand things. Over in Proverbs chapter 25, one scripture that has to do with dealing with these things that is so good. Proverbs 25, verse 11. A word fitly spoken is like apples of gold and pictures of silver. What more can you do with God's Word than tell them some of the things that you know and you understand and help them see the problem they're having and the way to correct it? That's what people want. They want to be corrected. They want to be helped. Paul went on to tell the disciples of his that he dealt with, follow me as I follow Christ. And that's what we need to be able to tell people. We don't want to tell people, follow me, but I don't follow Christ. I compromise here and there. So that's what we have to be careful of. You know, God truly wants a relationship with each and every person on the face of this earth. And if we can instill that and help people to understand that, that's something that's going to be very important. We have to learn, as Paul talked about in 1 Corinthians 3, how to plant, how to water properly, because God gives the increase. And so how we plant and how we water is very, very important. It is not something that just happens, takes place one time. It takes place over a lifetime. And so we need to make sure that we're good stewards of that. So thank you for listening this evening. If you would, be sure and ask for our free offer, True Discipleship, the booklet that's available. It is free. Just also to go to the email, info@cgi.org, and the web, cgi.org. And we hope we'll see you again next time on YouTube on the web.